Lieutenant Commander Jack Nelson stood at the viewport of Outpost Sigma 7, watching as the USS Vanguard disappeared into the swirling vortex of the emergency wormhole. The ship's engines glowed blue against the darkness of space, then vanished, completely. Just like that, his connection to humanity was gone. "No," he whispered, pressing his palm against the cold glass. "They can't leave me here." But they had. In the chaos of the surprise Crixian attack, the captain had given evacuation orders. Jack had been separated from his team during the assault on the observation outpost. The aliens had come out of nowhere, their blade-shaped ships cutting through, the defense grid like it was made of paper. Jack checked his oxygen meter, 63% remaining. The outpost's life support was damaged in the attack, running on backup power. He guessed he had about 3 days before the systems failed completely. He limped to the communications array, ignoring the pain in his leg where a piece of shrapnel had caught him. Blood had soaked through the makeshift bandage he'd applied. The console flickered as he typed in the emergency code sequence. "This is Lieutenant Commander Jack Nelson of the United Earth Fleet, USS Vanguard. Does anyone copy? I am stranded at Outpost Sigma 7. Repeat, I am stranded and in need of immediate extraction." Static answered him. He tried again, adjusting the frequency. Nothing but the empty hiss of dead space. They thought he was dead. In the confusion of the battle, with communications already failing, someone must have reported him as lost. The ship had retreated through the emergency wormhole back to Earth space, and the entrance had collapsed behind them. Standard procedure when facing an overwhelming enemy force. Jack sank into the chair, wincing at the pain. The outpost's main window showed only stars and the distant nebula that had made this region worth studying in the first place. Beautiful and deadly. They were at the very edge of mapped space. No human ship would pass this way again for months, maybe years. He pulled up the damage report on the flickering screen. The news was worse than he thought. The main reactor was failing. Even with minimal life support, he might have less than 48 hours. The distress beacon was functioning, but its range was limited without the main power grid. Jack's training kicked in. First rule of survival: assess your resources. He searched the outpost, gathering emergency rations, medical supplies, and tools. The station had one escape pod, but its navigation system was fried in the attack. Launching it would be suicide. He'd just drift in space until his oxygen ran out. As night cycle began and the automatic lights dimmed, Jack sat at the viewport eating a tasteless protein bar. Earth was so far away he couldn't even see its sun from here. His family would be notified of his death. His younger brother would get his apartment in San Francisco. His parents would hold a funeral with an empty casket. The pain in his leg throbbed. He'd need to clean the wound properly soon or risk infection. Not that it mattered much now. A blinking light on the sensor panel caught his attention. Jack frowned and moved to the console. The proximity alert was active. Something was approaching the station. "The Crixians," he muttered, "coming back to finish the job." But the signature was different. Not the blade-shaped vessels that had attacked earlier. These were something else. Sleeker. Faster. Nothing like Earth ships either. The console beeped as the unknown vessels dropped out of faster-than-light travel. 3 of them, arranged in a triangle formation. They were definitely ships, but unlike any he had seen before. They glowed with an inner light, their hulls translucent in places. Jack's heart raced. First contact with a new alien species, and he was completely alone. No backup, no diplomatic team, no captain to make the hard calls. The lead ship turned toward the station. A scan washed over the outpost, making the lights flicker. "Well," Jack said to the empty room as he straightened his torn uniform. "This should be interesting." Jack grabbed the station's only working weapon, a standard-issue laser pistol, and tucked it into his belt. He didn't plan to use it, but its weight against his hip gave him comfort as the strange ships approached. The scanner showed the alien vessels holding position 500 meters from the outpost. They made no aggressive moves, no weapons powered up. They simply waited. A flashing light indicated an incoming transmission. Jack hesitated, then pressed the receive button. No words came through the speaker. Instead, a series of musical tones filled the room. They rose and fell in patterns that seemed almost like speech, but nothing Jack could understand. "This is Lieutenant Commander Jack Nelson of Earth," he said clearly. "I don't understand your communication." The tone stopped. A moment later, the console lit up with a request for visual communication. Jack took a deep breath and accepted. The screen flickered to life. Jack found himself staring at a being unlike any he had seen before. Its skin was almost transparent, with soft blue light pulsing beneath the surface. Large almond-shaped eyes dominated a narrow face. No visible nose, just small slits. Its head was hairless with faint patterns etched across the scalp. The alien studied Jack with obvious curiosity. It tilted its head and made a flowing gesture with long, six-fingered hands. "I can't understand you," Jack said, gesturing to his ears. The alien nodded, seeming to grasp his meaning. It turned away from the screen, speaking to someone off camera in those musical tones. When it faced Jack again, it pointed to the outpost's docking bay and made a questioning gesture. "You want to dock?" Jack asked. He mimicked the motion of a ship connecting to the station. The alien nodded again. Jack weighed his options. His oxygen was running low. The station was failing. He had no way to call for help. These beings didn't seem hostile, and if they were, they could have destroyed the outpost already. "All right," he said, nodding. "Docking bay is open." He limped through the station corridors to the docking area. His injured leg protested with each step. By the time he reached the airlock, his bandage was soaked through with fresh blood. Jack heard the soft thump of a ship connecting to the outpost. The airlock lights cycled from red to green, indicating a secure seal. The inner door slid open. 3 aliens stood in the doorway. They were tall, at least 7 feet, with slender bodies. Their skin glowed from within, casting soft blue light on the station walls. They wore simple clothing that seemed to flow like liquid around their bodies. The alien in front stepped forward. She, Jack somehow knew, carried a small device in her hand. She spoke those musical tones again, then touched the device to her throat. New sounds emerged, halting and mechanical. "Human. You. Alone. Why?" "My ship left during the attack," Jack explained, pointing to the stars. "They think I'm dead." The alien seemed troubled by this. She conferred with her companions in their native language. Their lights pulsed faster, changing from blue to purple. Jack got the impression they were upset. The female turned back to him. "Abandon. This word?" "Yes," Jack said. "I was abandoned. Here." The 3 aliens recoiled as if struck. Their skin flashed deep red before settling back to blue. The female touched her throat device again. "Abandon. Greatest shame." Not done. Before Jack could respond, his injured leg gave out. He stumbled forward, caught himself on the wall, but left a smear of blood. The aliens moved quickly. The female reached him first, supporting his weight with surprising strength. She examined his leg, then spoke urgently to her companions. One rushed back to their ship while the other helped her lower Jack to the floor. "Help. We help," she said through the device. The 3rd alien returned, carrying what looked like a medical kit. He removed a cylinder filled with glowing liquid and handed it to the female. She held it up for Jack to see. "Heal. Permission?" Jack nodded weakly. "Go ahead." She pressed the cylinder against his leg. Cool sensation spread through his wound, numbing the pain. When she pulled it away, the bleeding had stopped. "Thank you," Jack said. "Come." "Our ship. Station dying." Jack looked around at the failing outpost. The emergency lights were already dimming as power systems failed. This place would be his tomb if he stayed. "What are you called?" he asked. "Your people?" The female touched her chest. "Zephyrian. I am Ixora." "I'm Jack Nelson," he replied, taking her offered hand to stand. "Jack Nelson," she said carefully. "Come. Much to learn." Jack stepped onto the Zephyrian ship and stopped in wonder. Unlike the hard metal and plastic of human vessels, this ship seemed almost alive. The walls pulsed with the same soft light that glowed beneath the alien's skin. The floor felt slightly springy under his boots. Ixora led him to a round chamber with curved seats that grew from the floor. 2 more Zephyrians waited there. One was taller than the others, with deeper blue skin. The other was shorter, with skin that had greenish tints. Council members, Ixora explained through her translation device. Leaders. The tall one approached, Jack studying him with large eyes. I am Vex, he said, his voice coming through a device similar to Ixora's. High Counselor of Zephyrian Fleet. Lieutenant Commander Jack Nelson, Jack replied with a formal nod. United Earth Fleet. Why abandoned? Vex asked directly. Jack explained about the surprise attack, how he had been separated from his team, and how the ship had to escape through the wormhole. As he spoke, the Zephyrian skin flickered with colors. When he finished, they conferred among themselves in their musical language. Crixians, Vex finally said. Enemies who attacked you. Enemies to us also, Long War. Jack felt a chill. The same aliens who attacked my ship are your enemies too? The shorter Zephyrian stepped forward. I am Elvi, Tactical Advisor. Crixians destroy many worlds, take resources, kill all who resist. Before Jack could respond, alarms sounded throughout. The ship. The walls pulsed red. A voice spoke rapidly in the Zephyrian language. Danger, Ixora translated, her skin flashing yellow with anxiety. Crixian scout ship approaching. Vex turned to a wall that transformed into a view screen. A black, blade-shaped vessel moved toward them, its surface covered in sharp angles that absorbed rather than reflected light. They hunt survivors, Elvi said. We'll destroy station. We'll destroy us. Can we outrun them? Jack asked. No time, Vex replied. Our fighters away for patrol. We are... What is word? Vulnerable. Jack studied the tactical display. The Crixian ship was fast but followed a predictable approach vector. An idea formed in his mind. The station, he said urgently. It has a reactor about to fail. If we could trigger an overload right as the Crixian ship passes. Elvi's eyes widened. Use dying station as weapon? Exactly, Jack said. Can you link to the station's systems from here? Ixora nodded and placed her 6-fingered hand on a panel. The wall rippled and displayed the outpost's systems. Guide me, she said. Jack pointed to the reactor controls. There. Disable these safety protocols, then increase power to maximum. Ixora's fingers danced across the display. The station's reactor temperature began to rise rapidly. Now we need to move to the far side of the station, Jack said. Use it as a shield until the last moment. Vex gave commands in their language. The ship moved smoothly, positioning itself with the station between them and the approaching Crixian vessel. Reactor reaching critical levels, Ixora reported. On the view screen, the Crixian ship grew larger as it approached the station, weapons powering up to destroy what it thought was an abandoned outpost. Wait for it, Jack said, watching the distance marker count down. Now! The Zephyrian pilot accelerated hard, pushing their ship away just as the Crixian vessel came alongside the station. The reactor detonated, a blinding flash filled the view screen. The shockwave hit their ship, making it shudder. When the light faded, the tactical display showed fragments of the Crixian vessel spinning away into space. Silence filled the command chamber. Then Vex turned to Jack, his skin glowing bright blue, with what Jack guessed was respect. Human tactics, Vex said. Different from ours. Effective. Elvi approached, studying Jack with new interest. Military training? Jack nodded. Tactical officer on my ship. Specialized in emergency response and enemy engagement. The Zephyrians exchanged meaningful looks. Their skin pulsed in patterns that seemed to communicate more than their words. Our war goes badly, Vex finally said. Many leaders lost. Many ships destroyed. Crixians push closer to our home worlds. Ixora placed a gentle hand on Jack's arm. We need help, Jack Nelson. We need new thinking. I'm just one person, Jack said. What could I do? Sometimes, Vex replied. One is enough. The Zephyrian ship traveled for 3 days. Jack spent most of that time with Ixora, learning their language and teaching her more English. The translation devices helped, but he wanted to understand their culture better. Where are we going? Jack asked as they shared a meal in what he had come to think of as the ship's dining hall. The food was strange, glowing fruits and vegetables that tasted like nothing from Earth, but he was getting used to it. Home fleet, Ixora said. Many ships together, safe from Crixians. Council wants you to speak. Speak? To who? War Council, all leaders. Ixora's skin rippled with yellow streaks, which Jack had learned meant concern. Our situation is desperate. Jack nodded slowly. He had seen the tactical displays. The Crixians controlled much of the surrounding space. The Zephyrians were being pushed back on all fronts. A deep tone sounded throughout the ship. Ixora stood quickly. We arrive, she said. Come. Jack followed her to the bridge. Through the view screen, he saw hundreds of ships, vessels of all sizes with the same translucent, glowing design as the one he was on. They formed a massive sphere, in open space with larger ships at the center. The last free Zephyrian fleet, Vex said as Jack entered. 122 ships, 40,000 people. That's all? Jack asked, shocked. On Earth, a single city could have millions of people. Many lost in war, Elvie said quietly. Many colonies destroyed. Their ship docked with a massive vessel at the center of the formation. Jack was led through glowing corridors to a large chamber where about 20 Zephyrians waited. They all wore simple but elegant clothing with symbols that Jack guessed marked their rank or position. The Zephyrians fell silent as Jack entered. Many had never seen a human before. Their skin flickered with blues and purples as they studied him. An elderly Zephyrian with pale, almost white skin approached. I am Lyra, Grand Counselor, she said through a translation device. Vex tells us you fought Crixians, used clever tactics. I did what was necessary, Jack replied. Necessary? Lyra repeated thoughtfully. Yes, we face necessary choices now. She gestured to a raised platform in the center of the room. Show us Crixian movements. A 3-dimensional map appeared, showing stars, planets, and the positions of both Zephyrian and Crixian forces. Red markers for Crixian ships far outnumbered the blue Zephyrian ones. They push here and here, Elvie explained, pointing to 2 fronts where Crixian forces were advancing. 3 major colonies lost in past month. Supply lines cut. Jack studied the map carefully. The Crixian ships moved in tight, organized formations. Their approach was methodical, overwhelming. You have faster ships, Jack noted, but you're fighting in fixed positions. Must protect remaining colonies, a tall Zephyrian said harshly. Each world has thousands of our people. I understand, Jack said, but fighting this way you'll lose everything. You need to change your tactics. The chamber erupted in musical tones as multiple Zephyrians spoke at once. Lyra raised her hand for silence. What different approach? She asked Jack. Stop meeting them head on, Jack said, pointing to the map. Use your speed, hit their supply, ships, disrupt their formations. Make them chase you, then ambush them when they separate. A sturdy Zephyrian with dark blue skin stepped forward. I am Core Fleet Commander. Your words sound like surrender. Running away. Not running away, Jack replied firmly. Strategic withdrawal. There's a difference between retreat and repositioning. Core's skin flashed red. You know nothing of our war. No, Jack admitted. But I know fighting, and I know you're losing. The room fell silent. Even Core had no response to this hard truth. Lyra exchanged looks with Vex, their skin changing colors in what seemed like a silent conversation. Finally, she turned to Jack. There is prophecy, she said slowly, from ancient times. When darkness closes, an outsider will lead us to light. Jack frowned. I'm not a leader. I'm just a tactical officer. Yet you think like no Zephyrian, Vex said. see patterns we do not. Lyra stepped closer to Jack. We ask you, help us fight. Guide our ships, teach us human tactics. As what? Jack asked. An advisor? As commander, Lyra said firmly. Of battle group. Small at first. To test your methods. Jack looked around the room at the faces watching him. Some hopeful, some doubtful. He thought of Earth, so far away. Of the slim chance of rescue. I'll help, he said finally. But I need to learn more about your ships, your weapons, how your people fight. Lyra's skin glowed bright blue. It is decided. You begin tomorrow. As the council dispersed, Kor approached Jack. I will watch you, human, he said quietly. Prove your worth. Jack met his gaze steadily. I intend to. Jack stood on the bridge of the Zephyrian ship Luminous Horizon. It had been 3 weeks since the council had named him commander. In that time he had learned to read Zephyrian tactical displays, studied their weapon systems, and trained with a small group of ships. Status report, Jack said, still finding it strange to be giving orders to aliens. Ixora, now his official translator and advisor, relayed information from the crew. All 5 ships ready, crews prepared. Jack nodded. The council had given him 5 ships for his first mission, 5 out of their precious 122. It was both a test and a statement of remarkable trust. Show me the target again, Jack requested. A 3-dimensional image appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed a Crixian supply depot at the edge of a small asteroid field. 3 Crixian warships guarded it. Remember, Jack said to his crew, we don't engage the warships directly. We hit the supply depot, then retreat into the asteroid field. Some of the crew looked uncertain. Zephyrians were used to direct, honorable combat. Jack's approach felt wrong to them. Kor, who had surprised Jack by volunteering to serve as his second-in-command, spoke up. Commander Nelson's plan will work. Follow orders precisely. Jack gave Kor a grateful nod. Despite his initial doubts, the gruff warrior had become Jack's strongest supporter after seeing his tactical plans. Begin approach, Jack ordered. The 5 Zephyrian ships moved silently through space, their engines modified to reduce their energy signature. Another of Jack's suggestions that had initially been met with resistance. Entering sensor range, Ixora reported. Still undetected. Jack felt tension in his shoulders. This was his first real command. If he failed, more than just the mission would be lost. The council's faith in him would vanish. Hold position, Jack said as they reached the planned starting point. Prepare all weapons. He studied the enemy. Positions one last time. The Crixian ships followed predictable patrol patterns. Jack had spotted this weakness in their previous encounters. They were powerful but rigid in their thinking. First group, begin your run, Jack ordered. 2 Zephyrian ships accelerated toward the supply depot from above. As Jack had predicted, 2 of the 3 Crixian warships moved to intercept them. Second group, go now, Jack said. His own ship and the 2 others shot forward from a different angle. They raced toward the supply depot while the Crixian warships were out of position. Weapons in range, Kor reported, his skin glowing with excitement. Fire, Jack ordered. The Zephyrian weapons were unlike anything from Earth. They fired concentrated energy that bypassed shields and disrupted the molecular structure of targets. The supply depot began to break apart under the assault. Enemy ships returning, Ixora warned. All 3 converging on our position. Begin withdrawal, Jack ordered, calmly. Follow the plotted course into the asteroid field. His 5 ships turned as one and accelerated away from the destroyed depot. The Crixian vessels followed exactly as planned. The asteroid field loomed ahead. The Zephyrians had practiced this maneuver for days, while the Crixians would be forced to navigate it for the first time. Entering asteroid field, Ixora announced. Crixians still pursuing, Jack smiled. Execute pattern Nelson 1. The Zephyrian ships split apart, each taking a different path through the asteroids. The Crixian vessels tried to follow but lacked the agility and practice. One Crixian ship clipped an asteroid, spinning out of control. "Sir," Kor said with surprise in his voice, "the Crixians are breaking off pursuit." The view screen showed the two remaining Crixian ships turning away from the asteroid field. They were retreating. "Mission complete," Jack announced. "Return to fleet formation." As they emerged from the asteroid field, the bridge crew's skin glowed bright blue with victory. Even Kor's usually dark complexion shimmered with approval. "First mission successful," Ixora said, placing a six-fingered hand on Jack's shoulder. "No Zephyrian casualties." "And the Crixians lost a major supply depot," Kor added, "with minimal risk to our ships." When they returned to the main fleet, news of their success had already spread. Jack was summoned to meet with Grand Counselor Lyra. "Your tactics worked," she said, her skin glowing with pleased light. "The Council wishes to expand your command. 20 ships. Larger missions." Jack felt a swell of pride, but also responsibility. "I'll need more training for the crews. They have to understand why these tactics work." "Agreed," Lyra said. "You will have what you need." As Jack left the meeting, he looked out a viewport at the assembled Zephyrian fleet. 3 weeks ago, he had been abandoned and alone. Now he commanded alien warships. It was not the life he had expected, but perhaps it was the one he was meant for. 2 years passed. Jack stood on the bridge of his command ship, now named Earth's Light in honor of his homeworld. At 40 ships strong, his battle group had become the most effective fighting force in the Zephyrian fleet. Their hit-and-run tactics had pushed back the Crixian advance and even reclaimed a small colony world. Jack had changed too. His hair was longer now, with streaks of early gray. His body was leaner and stronger from training in Zephyrian combat techniques. Most noticeably, a thin band of luminescent material circled his left wrist, a gift from the Council marking him as an honorary Zephyrian. "Commander," Ixora called from her station. "Unknown ship detected at the edge of the system." "Crixian?" Jack asked, instantly alert. "No," Kor replied, studying the readings. "Different design. Not Zephyrian either." Jack frowned. "Show me." The main screen displayed a distant vessel. Jack's heart skipped a beat. The ship's design was instantly familiar. Sleek angles, propulsion nacelles, and the unmistakable emblem on its hull. "It's human," Jack whispered. "That's an Earth exploration vessel." The bridge fell silent. Every Zephyrian turned to look at Jack. They all knew what this might mean for their commander. "They're broadcasting a standard greeting signal," Ixora said softly. Jack took a deep breath. "Open a channel." The screen shifted to show the bridge of the human ship. A woman in a United Earth Fleet uniform stood at the center. Her eyes widened in shock. "This is Commander Allison Reeves of the UEF Explorer," she said. "Am I speaking to Lieutenant Commander Nelson?" "Yes," Jack replied, his voice suddenly hoarse with emotion. "It's me, Allison." "My God," she breathed. "Jack, you're alive. Everyone thought you died in the Crixian attack 2 years ago. We're on an exploration mission and picked up unusual energy signatures in this sector. We never expected—" She trailed off, staring at the Zephyrians around him. "You're with aliens?" "The Zephyrians," Jack explained. "They rescued me after the USS Vanguard left. I've been helping them fight the Crixians." Allison's expression shifted from joy to concern. "The Crixians?" "Jack, we've established diplomatic contact with the Crixian Empire. They've proposed a non-aggression treaty with Earth." Jack felt as if the deck had dropped away beneath his feet. "What?" "Allison, the Crixians are conquerors. They've destroyed dozens of Zephyrian worlds. They attack without provocation." "That's not what they told us," Allison said carefully. "They described the Zephyrians as aggressive extremists who refuse peaceful coexistence." Kor growled something in Zephyrian that the translator didn't catch. Ixora's skin flashed angry red. "They're lying," Jack said firmly. "I've seen the evidence of their attacks, fought them myself." Allison studied him for a long moment. "Request permission to dock, Jack. We should discuss this in person. This changes everything about our understanding of this region." Jack nodded. "Granted." I'll meet you in Docking Bay 3. After the communication ended, Jack turned to his officers. I need to speak with the council immediately. An hour later, Jack stood in the docking bay with Ixora, Kor, and Grand Counselor Lyra. The human ship connected with a soft clank of metal on metal. When the airlock opened, Commander Reeves stepped through with 2 officers behind her. She, stopped short at the sight of the Zephyrians, clearly taken aback by their glowing, translucent appearance. Commander Reeves, Jack said formally, welcome aboard Earth's Light. Allow me to introduce Grand Counselor Lyra, my second-in-command Kor, and my advisor Ixora. Allison saluted, then stepped forward to embrace Jack briefly. I still can't believe you're alive. There's much to explain, Jack said. But first you need to understand what the Crixians really are. Lyra stepped forward, her ancient eyes studying the human visitors. We have prepared evidence of Crixian aggression, records of destroyed worlds, proof of their true nature. They mentioned your species to us, Allison admitted. Painted you as dangerous and unpredictable, said we should avoid contact. Yet here you are, Jack noted. Allison met his eyes directly. We detected your ship's energy signature and diverted to investigate. The Crixian ambassador will be displeased. Ambassador? Jack asked sharply. We have a Crixian diplomatic mission on Earth now, Allison explained. Part of the preliminary treaty discussions. Jack exchanged a worried look with Kor. Then we have even less time than I thought. Earth is in danger, Allison. The Crixians don't make treaties. They make conquests. Show me your evidence, Allison said. If what you're saying is true, Earth needs to know. In the Zephyrian Council chamber, Jack and the Zephyrian leaders showed Commander Reeves their evidence. Recordings played on the large display screen, planets burning, civilian ships being destroyed, and Crixian forces attacking unarmed colonies. This happened at Lyria Colony. Ixora explained as one particularly brutal attack played out. 6,000 civilians. No military presence. Allison's face had grown increasingly pale as she watched. The 2 officers with her, Lieutenant Kate Summers and Science Officer Ben Rodriguez, looked equally disturbed. Why would they do this? Allison asked. The Crixians told us they only want resources from uninhabited systems. The Crixians consume, Lyra said, her ancient voice heavy with sorrow. They take what they want. Living worlds have the most resources. Water, metals, organic compounds. And Earth is rich in all of these, Jack added. Kate Summers spoke up. If what you're showing us is true, the diplomatic mission on Earth could be gathering intelligence for an invasion. Or worse, Ben Rodriguez said quietly. They could be planting weapons or sabotage devices. Allison stood and paced the room. I need to get this information back to Earth immediately, but our ship is small, lightly armed. If the Crixians realize what we know, they will destroy you, Kor said bluntly, as they have done with others who discovered their plans. Jack turned to Lyra. We need to send a battle group to escort them back to Earth space. The Grand Counselor's skin rippled with concern. Our fleet is stretched thin. The Crixians press our borders in 3 sectors. Earth has to know the truth, Jack insisted. If the Crixians establish a foothold there, they'll eventually use Earth's resources against you too. Lyra considered this, then nodded slowly. You may take your battle group, Commander Nelson. Escort these humans safely home. Thank you, Jack said with genuine gratitude. Allison looked at Jack with new respect. You really are in command here, aren't you? These aliens trust you completely. We've fought together for 2 years, Jack replied. Trust is earned in battle. As they prepared to leave the council chamber, alarms suddenly blared throughout. The ship. The walls pulsed red with emergency lighting. What's happening? Allison asked. Kor rushed to a communication panel. After a brief exchange in Zephyrian, he turned to Jack, his skin dark with concern. Crixian attack force, he reported. 20 ships approaching rapidly. They have found the main fleet. How? Jack demanded. Our position was secure. Ixora looked pointedly at the human ship docked with their vessel. They must have followed you, she said to Allison. Perhaps without your knowledge. Allison's face hardened. Or there's a tracking device on our ship. The Crixian ambassador insisted on giving us navigation upgrades before this mission. We need to move the fleet immediately, Jack ordered. Core, signal all ships to prepare for emergency jump to backup coordinates. Too late, Core replied grimly. Crixian forces have surrounded the outer defense perimeter. First shots already. Fired. Jack made his decision quickly. Commander Reeves, your ship is in danger here, but we need to get your information to Earth. What do you suggest? Allison asked. Transfer your crew to our ships. Download your evidence and data to portable devices. We'll fight our way out and make for Earth at maximum speed. Lyra approached them. I will order civilian ships to the Yait, center of our formation. Your battle group must clear a path, Commander Nelson. Jack nodded. Core, prepare all 40 ships for immediate action. Weapons at full charge. As they rushed toward the bridge, Jack pulled Allison aside. There's something you should know, he said urgently. Even at our fastest speed, Earth is 3 weeks away. The Crixians could send a message much faster. What are you saying? That we may arrive to find the invasion already started. Jack's expression was grim. We need to be ready for anything. Allison straightened her uniform. Then we'd better make sure we win this battle, Commander. The ship shuddered as the first Crixian weapons fire struck their shields. Agreed, Jack said, breaking into a run toward the bridge. Let's show them what happens when they take on both humans and Zephyrians together. The journey to Earth took 28 days. Jack's battle group had fought their way through the Crixian blockade, losing 7 ships in the process. The remaining fleet had pushed their engines beyond safe limits, racing toward Earth with their urgent warning. Jack stood on the bridge of Earth's light, watching as the blue planet came into view on the main screen. Home. A place he had never expected to. See again. Status report, he ordered. No sign of Crixian ships in the system, Core reported. Earth defenses are intact. We made it in time, Allison said with relief. She had become Jack's unofficial liaison with the human crew members now spread throughout the Zephyrian fleet. Maybe, Jack said cautiously. Ixora, open a channel to Earth Defense Command. After several tense moments, the screen displayed an older man with general's stars on his uniform. His eyes widened at the sight of Jack surrounded by Zephyrians. This is General William Harris of Earth Defense Command. Identify yourself. General, this is Commander Jack Nelson, formerly of the USS Vanguard. I was reported missing in action 2 years ago. Nelson? The general leaned forward in shock. My God, it really is you. Sir, I'm approaching Earth with a fleet of Zephyrian ships. These aliens are allies, not enemies. We have critical information about the Crixian delegation on Earth. The Yao? General's expression darkened. You're too late, Commander. The Crixians left Earth 3 days ago, breaking off diplomatic relations without explanation. They took their ship and vanished. Jack exchanged worried looks with Core and Ixora. General, you need to put all Earth defenses on high alert. The Crixians aren't just breaking off relations, they're preparing for invasion. We suspected as much, General Harris said grimly. Our security teams found surveillance devices in the diplomatic quarters after they left. We're mobilizing the fleet now. Request permission to enter Earth space with my ships, Jack said. The Zephyrians have fought the Crixians for generations. They know their tactics, their weaknesses. The general studied the aliens on screen. Granted, but approach slowly and follow our escort vessels. People are going to be nervous seeing alien ships in orbit. The communication ended. Jack turned to his crew. Prepare all ships for defensive positions around Earth, he ordered. The Crixians will come, and they'll come in force. They didn't have to wait long. Just 6 hours after Jack's fleet arrived, sensors detected Crixian ships entering the solar system. Not 20 ships, or 50. Over 200 Crixian vessels approached Earth in attack formation. They were waiting for us to arrive, Ixora realized. They wanted both humans and Zephyrians here. To destroy both potential threats at once, Jack agreed. Efficient. Earth's defense fleet moved to intercept, but they were outnumbered. Jack's 33 Zephyrian ships joined them, taking position on the front line. All ships, implement Battle Plan Nelson 7, Jack commanded. Earth vessels, follow our lead. What followed was the largest space battle in Earth's history. Human ships, powerful but untested in true combat, followed the more experienced Zephyrian vessels. Jack's battle group moved with practiced precision, drawing Crixian ships into prepared kill zones where Earth's defense platforms could target them. In the heart of the battle, Earth's light took heavy damage. A Crixian beam weapon tore through the bridge, killing several crew members instantly. Jack was thrown across the deck, his side burning with pain. Core pulled him to his feet. Command center compromised, we must evacuate. No, Jack said, blood running down his face. Target their flagship, all remaining energy to weapons. The Zephyrian ship shuddered as it changed course, driving straight toward the massive Crixian command vessel. Behind them, the human fleet rallied, following Jack's daring move. For Earth and Zephyria, Jack whispered as they closed the distance. Burke, combined fire of human and Zephyrian ships, concentrated on the Crixian flagship's main reactor. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the enormous vessel erupted in a blinding explosion that consumed 3 neighboring ships. Without central command, the Crixian attack faltered. Within hours, they retreated from Earth space, leaving behind debris and defeat. 3 months later, Jack stood in the United Earth Fleet headquarters, his Zephyrian friends beside him. His wounds had healed, leaving new scars to match his old ones. General Harris presented him with Earth's highest military honor. Commander Nelson, the general said, you were abandoned by your people, yet you returned to save us all. Jack glanced at Ixora, Core, and the other Zephyrians. I wasn't abandoned, sir. I was just finding my true purpose. Later that day, in a historic ceremony, representatives from Earth and Zephyria signed the first interspecies defense treaty. Jack, wearing both his Earth uniform and his Zephyrian commander insignia, stood as the official liaison between worlds. The man who had once been lost to space now bridged the gap between stars.